August 12th, Monday, 2019. So it's 36, maybe 37. Feeling good, man. Feeling good. Today's been a good day. I went and worked out. Did what was it? 2.9 mile walk, 40 minutes with some high knees, squats, sprints, shuttle sprints. Was a sideways walk, a bunch of other stuff. Worked out. Took about an hour, man. I don't know. I gotta do. I keep starting and stopping workout plans and stuff like that. I realize that I just don't like committing to doing the same routines for 3-4 weeks at a time. I always end up stopping. So my goal right now is just to do the minimum. Not the. I don't want to say minimum, but my goal is to do any kind of activity, whether that looks like running, whether that looks like walking, push-ups, sit-ups, whatever it looks like. Just doing something so that way I am actively trying to better myself, better my health, and get back on track with things. I do good for like 3 or 4 weeks, and I just stop. And I'll stop for 2 weeks, and I'll just do things differently. So this is my attempt at trying to do things differently and better. I feel alright though. Not much that I want to talk about. Not really feeling much. Excuse the background noise. I think I got the TV on. Oh man, I was sitting down trying to relax myself before I get back into the shower. Or before I get into the shower, to say. But I'm going to get in the shower anyway. It doesn't even matter. What was I going to say? I'm all sweaty. Today, I cut my beard, as you guys can see. Just trying to start a fresh start. I have a couple patches here and here. It's a little thin. Even on the other side, it's a little thin. So I cut it just to kind of start fresh. I had a lot of breakage, a lot of tangled. It was really, really bad, to a point to where you could just feel anywhere and just feel the knots in the hair. So I needed to I just needed to cut and start over. The good news is that I know it grows down to about here now. All under here it grows in really thick. Here it still gets thin. It doesn't really grow in as much, but from here down it gets really long, and it grows nicely underneath. I don't have many patches underneath my neck. I don't have like one of those nasty neck beards either. It's not like here. This I usually keep shaved, and it's actually at the base of my neck, the base of my face, down to my neck, where it's like clear. But anyway, I'm feeling a type of way, man. I reached that point, and I think I reached a point in my work, or just in my career, where I need to really think about my next steps. It's giving me a little bit of anxiety, I think once I found out that AJ, that Shauna was pregnant and AJ was coming, I knew for a fact that I needed to really, change my life around quicker than later. Nothing for me was really that serious. I was 24 when I found out when Shauna was pregnant. It was a couple days after my 24th birthday when Shauna found out that she was pregnant, and it was one of those things to where, her and I weren't on the best of terms, and it was just turmoil, and we were just young and dumb. But when he was born, I made a decision that I needed to better myself, so that way he has more opportunities than I did, so that he has better resources than I did. Everything that I had to work for, and I had to work for hard. But because AJ came, it forced me to get my shit together. I went and I bought a house, and I started and finished school, and got my bachelor's, and I just took life more seriously. I created plans. I lived by it. I stuck by them. I saw each and every one through. And I say that to say that the last 6 years, almost 7 years now, I have always had a goal that I'm working towards. And this is the first time in my life to where I don't have a goal anymore. In the sense of, I don't know what I want to do right now. I've been in healthcare for, damn near 11 years. Actually, 11 years in September, it'll be 11 years in healthcare. And, I've been a manager for the better half of, it was 5 years or so. And, now I'm in corporate. I'm an operations manager. I'm still fairly new to the position. I'm still learning it. And I see myself, still being in a position, for at least for the next 5, 6 years, 7 years now even. But that's my thing, right? Like plans, usually I've been planning for, I've been planning for where I'm at now for the last 6 years. Everything that I've done, every action, every single step that I've made up until this point has been to get to where I'm at now. And now that I'm here, I don't know where to go. I don't have a navigation plan. And a lot of it's for two reasons, right? I'm at a point to where I can I'm at a point to where how I see it is that a lot of people stick to their position for a while, right? Like this is where people find their sweet spot and they end up being in a position for 10, 15, 20 years now, right? Before they actually go on to the next stop. And for me, I've never had a desire to do that for long term. And me knowing that about myself, I know that I need to decide what's my next goal and then work towards it. The problem is that I don't have a goal. So for me, I just feel like I feel like that time that I would spend in this position feels indefinite. And I don't want to feel like I'm stuck because I genuinely enjoy my job now. And I know that I could probably make a career out of it, but I mean, the goal is always to move up to the next point. I just don't know what that looks like for me. I don't know where that would lead. I don't know what the next step would be from here. When I was in South Florida, I was a manager. It was clear to me that my next step would want to be a director, then from there, administrative director, then from there to administrative executive, and so on and so forth. Like I had a clear path to where I wanted to do. Here, I just feel like, not that it's unclear, but this is all new territory. Like this position was newly created for this healthcare system. So just as much as I don't know where I would like to go, I don't think that they have necessarily a real path, a course for me to go either. And maybe they do. Maybe they know that the next stop is to be, a regional manager and things like that. And that's fine. Maybe that is the next step. My thing is that I don't know if that's what I really want to do, and two, if that's something that I aspire to do. 'Cause I like what I'm doing. I know that I don't want to do it forever. I know that I do want to move up, but I know that I need to have a plan for not just the next step, but the next step after that. And I just don't know how it looks right now. I don't know where it's going to be. I don't know. It's just one of those, I got like just one long hair in my mustache and it's bothering me. It's all dark too. You guys see it? It's like right there. It's like all dark and shit. I'm going to cut that. But anyway, yeah, I don't know how I feel about that. It's difficult for me to kind of navigate through it. I do know that no matter what, I need to get my master's, and that's what I plan on doing. I never saw myself not having my master's, but I don't want to work towards my master's and then finish that and be like, all right, well, what's next? And I think that's what also bothers me is just to go to school, and there's so many different master's programs, especially in healthcare. Like, you got your EMBA, you got your MHA, you got just a lot of different avenues, even your MBA, but with a focus in hospitality, or you focus in healthcare services, healthcare information, technology. There's just so many different avenues when it comes to healthcare and how things are, and just anywhere you can go, so like technology plays such a big part in large healthcare systems now. I personally like the technology side of it. I do. So for me, that's always something where it's like, it spikes my interest, right? And then, I love the finance side of things. And I feel like by doing that, it gets me away from the finance. It takes me further away from the finances. And of course, I like to have an effect on those finances with different implementations and things like that. So, being part of that leadership team to make those decisions, that kind of thing spikes my interest too. So it's like I have all these different interests, but don't have a solid plan as far as where I want to go. And I think I think overall I want to, I have like a long-term goal of just being an executive in a hospital, working as far as I can, whether it be VP of, just a VP, or even like a CEO of a hospital, something in that nature. But I don't even know what are the next steps to even get to that kind of place, right? I think in my wildest fantasies, I think I see myself having like a PhD, right? But then when I look into PhD, in particular to healthcare services, or just healthcare in general, it is so specified, and it's such a small part of what healthcare really is. It just doesn't interest me that much. Whereas, having my master's, and let's just say a master's in healthcare administration, or my executive MBA, that too has such a wide range of meaning. It's so broad. It's too broad to then say, all right, well, this is going to be my goal point. You know what I'm saying? It's just too broad. So I don't know. I just been thinking about it, and it's frustrating for me because I just don't know where that next step would be, where it would come from. I don't want to wake up and be 45 and realize, all right, now it's time to get serious. You know what I'm saying? I want to be working towards that goal. So that way, when I am 45, it's all right. Look at all the different accomplishments that I've done up to this point. Look at everything I have here. I'm ready for that next step. I don't see myself moving up, in 5-year increments. That's not what I'm saying. What I am saying is that I don't want to just be working just to work and not have everything go towards a goal. You know what I'm saying? Like right now, part of, like I'm doing a lot of different project management and just involved in a lot of different projects. So for me, it makes sense for me to probably see if project management is something that, I'll get my project management certification is something that would be beneficial, right? I think that would serve right. But even that, doing something like that, it takes a lot of work, a lot of effort, a lot of money goes involved with it. It's at least a year of training and things like that. And I feel like me doing that is great, but it doesn't have the gravity of, a master's or things like that. And I feel like it would look amazing with a master's. But it takes time to get there, and part of me is like, all right, well, maybe I should start on a certification first and then look towards my master's and just work on it like that. A lot of master's programs, they give you credits, and they give you credits towards, from your work experience and things like that. And it's like, that's sweet. But realistically for me, I don't think that would be my best interest. I think for me, it would probably need to be my master's and then probably look for project management. My thing is timing, money, and resources, right? I feel like the timing needs to be right, especially with, military family. I'm traveling, or I have there's a lot of like my chances of moving and being, in a different area, a different region is very high. And I feel like for the most part, a master's program for me really, really, really needs to be, in person. I can't do that online stuff. I get too distracted way too easily. I need to be face to face. I need to be able to do things, hands on, ask questions right up front and things like that. I just don't see myself doing an online master's program. But master sounds good. I would just need probably 18, maybe 24 months at the most. So timing is one thing, but then also the resources and the money and stuff like that. I don't want to incur any more student debt. So it needs to be something that I could probably have my employer pay for, or even, try to just get as many scholarships. I don't want to take out any more loans. I already have about $26,000 in student loans, and that was that's only about 15% of what my bachelor's cost. So I really need to really pay attention as far as what I want to do for my master's. It just needs to make sense. I don't want to start a program that costs $40,000 and have, after interest and shit like that, at $60,000 in student loans for my master's, and then for me not to be able to make up that income, if that makes sense. And then it's like a lot of the student forgiveness programs and things like that, you have to, working in healthcare for 10 years, it qualifies you for it, but a lot of times you have to work in that same area for 10 years. And then that's where the timing messes up, right? I can't guarantee that I'm going to be here for 10 years. And it's possible that I could be, or maybe I could finish in 2 years and then only be here still for 7 years, 7-8 years. And then everything up to that point would be null and void. There would be a gap in work and things like that. And, it's just the timing of it just doesn't sound right for me. And I'm not necessarily in a bad spot. I'm able to save. I'm able to invest in certain things. And part of me is like, well, maybe the master's not in it. Maybe I need to focus on different ventures, focus on trying to get, some investment properties, investment condos and do things differently in that manner, and before the market becomes too high, or wait for the next crash. Just all of these little these finite details that could absolutely run out, or I could miss at an opportunity's moment. So I feel like a lot of times, success is very much luck. It's hard work. It's a lot of hard work, but a lot of it comes from the opportunity to take advantage of certain things, and that's where that's where I'm limited at. I'm limited at being able to visualize, to be able to see different opportunities that come my way. So I for the most part, I have to force pieces together in order to get the puzzle that I want. And I just feel like, the amount of debt that incurs on getting a master's and stuff like that, there's too much risk for the reward, for me not to be able to control things like timing and control things like, the resources and the amount of debt that I incur and things like that. So I just need to be really smart about it, and I don't feel smart enough. I don't feel smart enough to make those decisions yet. But I do know that it needs to happen. I don't, not that there's anything wrong with having a master's like later on in life, right? There's totally people that wait until they're much well into their career paths, and then they start looking at that stuff. I don't want to go into my later stages in life with fresh student debt. That's not what I want, unless it was like my doctorates, right? My PhD. Then people will call me Dr. Benton, for real. But, I just don't see that. I just don't see me doing that at 40, 45 for a master's. For me, I would want that to be, 40, 45, maybe even 50 for my PhD. And even then, like, no one wants to go to school for that long or that late. You know what I'm saying? 40, 45, 50. I want to be able to take vacations and just do things that I wasn't being able to do at 30. And that's what I want to enjoy all those things sooner than later. I'm not in a position yet. I'm still trying to work very hard to do that. But I do know that I need to make some of these crucial decisions now, so that way I'm working towards something. And that's where I feel lost. I don't know what I want to necessarily do. I don't know if I'm in the correct position to actually do it. And a lot of it is I used a lot of my military benefits now for my bachelor's, so it's like, trying to come up with that money would be all out of pocket. It's just not enough. And it's possible that I'm missing something, you know what I'm saying? It's very much possible that I'm missing something. But I don't know. That's it. That's all I want to talk about. I know it's all over the place. The moral of the story is that I am in the beginning stages of my career, and I know that I need to make some decisions in order to progress further into it. And I don't know if now is the opportunity to make those decisions. I need to get my master's program. I need to get a master's program started. But I need to do it smart. I need to be able to make sure that it's not a waste of resources. I need to make sure that it's financially safe to do so. And I need to make sure that it's to my overlying goal. I don't want to do my MHA if I'm not going to stick in healthcare. Same time, I don't want to do it. I don't want to have just a broad MBA or a broad EMBA, and for it to then be be in a completely different field where it's not as useful. So I'm a little lost with it. That's how I feel. I'm frustrated. I'm lost about it. I don't really know what to do. And maybe I just need to give it time. I've only been in a position for about 6 months now, so maybe I just need to give it some time. Give it some time and see what happens from there.